The Young and the Restless spoilers update for the week of March 31 April 4 reveal that Diane Jenkins Abbott will panic over some scary news. Sally Spectra will also have an outburst before Audra Charles faces some temptation. First, Victoria Newman will offer Claire Newman some support and realize her daughter is still worried about Victor Newman interfering in her romance with Kyle Abbott. Victoria will want to do everything she can to preserve Claire's happiness, and Jack Abbott will feel the same way about Kyle. That's why Jack will give Victoria a warning she can take back to Victor in an attempt to stop his meddling. However, Victor will be busy scheming elsewhere since he's juggling a couple different projects right now. In addition to going after Jabad, Victor is trying to lure Aristotle Dumis out of hiding. Since Victor is distorting the facts when it comes to Damian Kane, he'll pave the way for Lily to hurl accusations and make some other bold moves. Nevertheless, Damian will insist Lily's got it all wrong and will try to get Nate Hastings in his corner. Over with Chelsea Lawson, she'll fill Billy Abbott in on some important developments. Billy should get updates on Chelsea and Adam Newman officially being a couple again, so he may make a prediction about this reunion ending in disaster. Sally also has an outburst coming up on Y and R, but that should be more about Adam's feud with Billy than his decision to reunite with Chelsea. Since Sally doesn't have a problem with Adam and Chelsea getting back together, her blow-up should come after Adam gets under her skin regarding Billy. Later, Phyllis will carry out a polite charade with Sally, who won't think she can be trusted. Chloe Mitchell will be even less trusting of Phyllis, so she'll encourage Sally to plot against her and remove her from Billy's path. Back with Jack, he'll get stern with his brother. Jack might have a hunch that Billy's about to deviate from the positive road he's been on at Abbott Communications, so he may dish out some tough love. Unfortunately, Billy seems determined to partner up with Aristotle despite the risks. This alliance could get Chancellor back for Billy if it goes well, but it could just as easily end in catastrophe instead. Meanwhile, Michael Baldwin will get dragged into more Newman drama through his job. Lauren Fenmore Baldwin will sense that things could turn out badly for Michael, so she'll recruit Nikki Newman to intervene. Nikki will have to stand against Victor's wishes if she goes along with Lauren's request, and it looks like that's exactly what she'll do. If Nikki derails Victor's latest Jabot takedown plan, that could bring issues in their marriage. As for Diane, she'll fear for Tracy Abbott's safety when she learns Tracy plans to trick Alan Laurent, aka Martin Laurent, into confessing. Diane may push Tracy to let the cops handle this, but Tracy will insist this is something she has to do. Some second thoughts will creep in later since Tracy is indeed headed into an extremely dangerous situation. Martin could have a wild reaction if he figures out what Tracy's up to, so she'll be playing with fire. Finally, Audra will get an invitation that she didn't see coming. This could lead to more alone time for Audra and Holden Novak, so he may hope to stir up some temptation for her. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Holden and Audra's lingering connection could become a growing problem, so stay tuned. It's the place to be for thrilling Young and the Restless spoilers, updates and news, so check back often for more Y and R details. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie, here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. At Society, Victoria and Claire have lunch, where the younger woman gushes about Nikki teaching her international business. Victoria warns she has to promote herself in addition to the company. She couldn't be prouder of her. Claire loves it when she says she's proud of her, though it's still hard to hear it. Jordan always put her down. Victoria fumes. That woman was so twisted. She'll make up for all of the love and admiration she missed out on growing up. She notes that Claire doesn't have bitterness and just brings light into others' lives. Claire can do that because of the support she's been given. Kyle helps too. She's never felt so close to someone, but there is something that's still troubling her about him. Claire says things between her and Kyle are great, but the problem is her grandpa. There must be some way to get him to back off. Victoria says her father doesn't back off from anything. Claire tells her about Victor walking out on dinner. Victoria sighs. She shares her concerns. Her father prides himself on holding a grudge and getting what he wants. He always thinks he knows what's best. Worse, he's been emboldened. He pushed for Chelsea and Adam to get back together, and now they are. It's more proof in his mind that he's right. Now he'll have more time to focus on Claire and Kyle. Claire doesn't want Kyle to get hurt because of her. Victoria wonders if she's thinking of breaking up with him to protect him from Victor's wrath. Claire won't let anyone else tell her what to do or who to love. Victoria just knows how hard it is for her not to have her grandfather's blessing. Claire can't understand why he doesn't want her to be happy. Victoria says he believes in his heart he's protecting her from Kyle. Claire questions why he didn't do this for Summer. Victoria shrugs that he must have thought Summer didn't need his protection. Claire fumes that she's not a delicate flower. If she gets knocked down, she'll get up and fight twice as hard. At the club, Kyle takes a number about great numbers at Jabat as Jack listens. He disconnects and Jack applauds him for giving Diane credit for her line. Kyle says he saw Tracy in the hall and she seemed distracted. Jack waves it off. Kyle's just glad she's marrying the right guy. Jack changes the subject to Kyle taking time off. Kyle grins. It was necessary. Jack tells him how proud he is of his work performance. Kyle learned everything from Jack and Diane. His mother had done a great job at rebooting the Jabat classic line. Jack's happy to hear all of this and is grateful the rift between them has healed. Kyle is getting back to being the man he wants to be, and Claire deserves a little credit. Jack and Kyle chat about being in love with their women. Kyle says what he feels for Claire is different than any other woman. With Summer, he felt like he always had to prove something. Being with Claire, he's more relaxed. He doesn't have to twist himself into knots to be a better man for her. She helped him find his way back to being his better self. Jack likes the effect that Claire has had on him. They have his blessing. Jack goes on about her warmth and honesty and the way she looks at Kyle. Kyle brings up Victor's disapproval. He feels he can take him on if he tries to come between them. Jack thinks Kyle and Claire are doing all the right things. They shouldn't let their challenges drive them apart. Kyle feels bad for Claire being in the middle. Victor's mad because Jack and Diane outmaneuvered him. Jack's sure he'll continue the pressure, but he'll have his work cut out for him. Kyle worries that if he pushes Claire, she might start to listen. At Nate's place, Damian and Nate get Amy settled in on the sofa and banter like brothers. Damian thanks Nate for all he's done for him, mother. Nate says he just made the referral. Amy teases that the doctor told her she may be able to get some overtime. They chat about her basketball analogy, and Amy tells Damian all she wanted was to look him in the eye and tell her how sorry she was about everything. Damian worries she's getting overwhelmed, so Nate takes her upstairs to rest. There's a knock at the door, so Damian answers it. Lily strides in and informs him they need to talk. Damian senses that Lily's upset. She doesn't want to get into it there. She asks about Amy. Damian says the first treatments have gone well. Nate's upstairs getting her settled in. Lily makes a remark about cancer, and Damian thinks she sounds like she has experience with it. Lily wants to go across the hall to talk, but Damian says his place is there with his mother. Lily says, "Fine. I want to know what you and your boss, Aristotle Dumis, are really up to." She tells Damian that she knows Dumis sent him information on her and Devin 3 months ago. Damian smiles. "Where are you getting your information?" Lily notes he's not denying it. Damian asks if she's still actively investigating him. She says it's clear he knew about her business and family before Nate reached out. Did he know Nate was his brother and Amy was sick before then? Has he been playing them the whole time? Lily reminds Damian she told him she would do whatever it takes to protect her family and their interests. Damian finds her insinuation insulting. She doesn't know him well, but does she really think he'd have stayed away if he knew his mother was dying? Lily says yes. He was ready to get on a plane and leave after he found out. Damian says he's there now. He didn't know about Nate until she told him. He loved his father more than anyone, so to suggest that he knew all along he wasn't his biological father is ludicrous. Your timeline as to what I knew and when is way off, so maybe you need to tell me who is feeding you lies. Nate appears and intervenes. Lily apologizes. Nate's curious to hear what this is all about. Damian says Lily is making something out of nothing. He works for Dumis, and the two companies he runs belong to the man. Dumis set it up to appear as though he was the owner because he likes to keep a low profile. Nate can understand and mentions he and Lily have both been burned by Victor Newman. Damian read about Lily and Devin in a business publication a while back, but they were just names on a page. When Nate made the job offer, he checked in with Dumis, and he told them what he knew about their family business. He advised them to hear them out and see where it led. Lily sniffs, "That's your side of the story. Mine is a little different." Damian says she seems to think that he knew about them, but before they reached out, but whoever told her that is the one playing her. Lily insists her source is more reliable than Damian. Nate's brother insists he's been playing catch-up all along. He can admit to his deceptive behavior in the beginning. Lily complains that he had Holden impersonate him. Damian thought they were getting closer. Lily doesn't trust him at all and warns she won't let him, or this Aristotle Dumis, hurt her family. She storms out. Nate tells Damian that this whole scenario could be a fabrication. Amy appears and wants to know what's going on. In the club dining room, Jack and Kyle discuss Victor being the king of misinformation. Kyle still worries he'll wear Claire down. She just found her family. If he tries to make her choose between him and being a Newman. Jack points out that the other Newmans approve of their relationship and Victor has no support for his point of view. Kyle knows one person, Summer. Jack knows that Summer thinks she should have a say in who he has in his life. Kyle says she was right about Audra. She hasn't said anything about Claire, but it's not hard to know what she's thinking. Jack says he ran into Summer the other day, and he got an inkling that she thought the two of them should get back together. Kyle isn't sure why she'd want that, but she does believe Victor would prefer it. But what he has now with Claire is different. Jack warns it's not beneath Victor to try and take advantage of the Summer angle. At Society, Victoria tells Claire that when Kyle and Summer were married, there was a truce between Jack and Victor. It ended when Jack intervened with Nikki's drinking. Claire says Nikki started drinking again because of her and Jordan giving her vodka. She's to blame. It's all the more reason she needs her grandfather to be oak with her and Kyle. She needs to melt his heart to change his mind. Outside, Victoria tells Claire she's been where she is and has done everything she can to force her father to let her make her own choices. They go over how he felt about Cole when he first came back. Eventually, he earned his respect. Claire hopes if her grandfather changes his mind, everyone else will fall in line. Victoria asks if there is someone else opposed to her relationship with Kyle. Claire says, just one person, Summer. Victoria asks if she wants to get back with him. Claire wouldn't go that far. She just seems threatened by her. Victoria's sorry. Her first love, boyfriend should be special. Summer has no say in Kyle's life, and Victor will eventually leave them alone. In the meantime, she'll try to keep him from coming between them. They hug. Victoria enters the club and Jack calls her over. They discuss Kyle and Claire and how much they like each other. Jack says they have his full support. Victoria says she and Cole approve as well. Jack knows Victor isn't on board. He asks her to tell Victor that if he causes those young people any heartbreak, he will answer to him. Jack walks off and Victoria says, "To me as well." Kyle and Claire meet up in Crimson Lights and compare notes on who is in favor of their relationship. It only matters what they think. At Nate's place, Amy is upset that Nate and Damian are at each other's throats. They try to divert her with talk of soup. Amy informs them they will sit down, and she wants the truth. "Oh, and you're going to give it to me." The Young and the Restless spoilers and updates tease Michael Baldwin is about to find himself in a precarious situation with his next assignment. Victor Newman will issue a directive that pulls the lawyer deeper into complications. Let's delve into the challenges Michael is facing. In the week spanning March 31 to April 4, Victor will meet with Michael, who has been actively involved in 2 significant missions recently. First, Michael is caught up in Victor's ongoing conflict with Jack Abbott. That's a rivalry that has gone on for many years, starting with Jack's father, John Abbott. He has organized spies to infiltrate Jabot and intends to gather crucial information from them for Victor shortly. Additionally, Michael has been looking into Aristotle Dumis and will assist Victor in coaxing his old adversary out of seclusion. This could require a daring approach to capture Aristotle's interest, or perhaps it will focus on leveraging the Jabot spy's information to benefit Victor. With the insights Michael shares, Victor might be poised to retaliate against Jack. The Jabot perspective becomes clearer when we think about Laurent Fenimore Baldwin's imminent plans. Laurent has a strong bond with Jack and will likely want to prevent Michael from being caught in the crossfire of the escalating Abbott-Newman conflict. Once Laurent contacts Nikki Newman and persuades her to meet, they will engage in a meaningful conversation at the Jazz Lounge. Laurent will admit that Victor is the driving force behind this meeting and will ultimately push Nikki to turn against her husband. Concerned about keeping Michael away from illegal, dangerous, or unethical actions, Laurent will seek Nikki's help. It won't be long before Nikki confronts Michael at the ranch, probing him for details. Although Nikki might hesitate to comply with Laurent's request, she will attempt to thwart Victor's plans, particularly regarding Michael's involvement. While Nikki's strategy may not succeed, she will interrogate Michael and possibly raise alarms. Upcoming spoilers suggest that Michael could stir up significant trouble due to Victor's machinations, leading Nikki to make some alarming predictions once she receives the latest updates. The name Aristotle Dumis is making waves on Young and Restless as he's now tied to 3 different characters on the canvas. Yet we still don't know who he is given he's using an alias. One thing we do know, all of the mystery surrounding the man is building to a shocking reveal. It turns out that Aristotle Dumis is not only Damian's boss, but a mogul with a history of going head-to-head with Victor Newman, trying to outbid one another to acquire various companies. On the surface, this isn't all that intriguing, but the fact that Victor's in the dark about not only the man's identity, but also the reasons he chooses to compete with him on an ongoing basis is noteworthy. Why? Victor's always 10 steps ahead of any potential adversary. That Dumis has been able to remain in the shadows, both when it comes to his identity and his motives, is impressive. Even Michael is yet to come up with any answers about his true identity. But it's not just Damian and Victor who have a connection to Dumis. Billy has entered the chat as well. According to what he's told Phyllis and Sally, the mystery mogul reached out to him to express his dismay over Victor doing him dirty with Chancellor and wants to help him get it back. Sounds to us like Billy is just a means to an end for Dumis, who clearly wants to stick it to the mustache whenever possible. Yep, this guy's got a hate-on for the Black Knight, which provides a clue to his true identity. We questioned if Dumis might be Kane Ashby, and some of the signs suggest it could be Laylee's ex, particularly given that Daniel Goddard is teasing an announcement. But another theory has since come to light. Dumis clearly holds a grudge of some significance against Victor. He obviously wants to help Billy get Chancellor back as a means of exacting some sort of revenge on the mustache. Further, the mystery mogul hides his identity behind an alias derived from the name of author Aristotle Dumis, who wrote The Count of Monte Cristo. He's named his companies Monte Cristo and Dangler, who was a character in the book. When you put all of this information together, you're looking at an adversary who has a beef with Victor and a literary background. Digging into Young and Restless history, you'll find that one of the original families on the soap ran a publishing company. There's your literary connection. Did they ever have a run-in with Victor of the nasty variety? As the mustache himself would say, you betcha. We're talking, of course, about the Brooks family. Stuart Brooks had 2 daughters, Leslie and Lori, who became involved with the Prentice brothers, Lucas and Lance. To make a long story short, Leslie and Lance had a child named Brooks Prentice. After her sister became engaged to Lance, she kept the truth about Brooks' paternity from him and had a nervous breakdown. Brooks ended up in Lori's custody, and she later managed to lose their family company, Prentice Industries, to Victor Newman, who insisted he'd taken it over for her sake and to teach Lance a lesson. He handed it back to Lori as an engagement present, but she left the mustache at the altar and eventually reunited with Lance. Bottom line, Brooks Prentice, or perhaps his offspring, could be carrying on a vendetta against Victor to this day. Dumas could very well be a descendant of these original Genoa City families. This person would have the money to compete against Victor, considering they're an heir to a publishing empire, and that would also explain the literary names he's using to do business. What's more is that Day's actor Billy Flynn has been cast on Young and Restless and has the perfect look to be a member of the Brooks/Prentice family. The Young and the Restless spoilers update for Tuesday, April 1, reveals that Billy Abbott will get some bad news while Adam Newman pushes Sally Spectra too far. Nate Hastings will also take a risk, so let's discuss what's coming up in Genoa City. Victor Newman supplied Lily Winters with deceptive intel and made her even more suspicious of Damian Kane's secret agenda, but Damian will continue to defend his innocence. Since Damian and Nate have actually been starting to connect as siblings, Amy Lewis will hope they can stay on track. Damian will assure Nate that his heart's in the right place, so Nate may take a risk by trusting him despite Lily's concerns. Meanwhile, Chelsea Lawson will give Billy updates on her decision to lock in a reunion with Adam. Billy obviously won't be happy about that and may insist Chelsea's signing up for more heartbreak. However, Chelsea is entitled to make her own romantic choices, even if Billy feels like she's making a mistake. Billy will have to respect boundaries and understand that Chelsea can do whatever she wants. While Billy reacts to Chelsea's relationship developments, Sally should have a chance to do the same at society. That's where Adam and Sally will have a tense interaction on Tuesday's I&R episode. Sally was honestly expecting Adam and Chelsea's reunion anyway, so she may not have much of a reaction. Chelsea and Adam's next chapter was inevitable from Sally's perspective, so she'll probably keep things polite and offer some well wishes. That said, there'll still be some opportunities for conflict in Tuesday's show. Adam and Billy remain enemies, so he may make some troubling predictions about Billy's imminent business disaster and set Sally off. Sally is already on edge over Billy's alliance with Aristotle Dumis, so listening to Adam's negativity will add to her concerns. That should give Sally a reason to lash out, so she'll blast Adam once he pushes one button too many. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Billy could be headed for catastrophe thanks to his Aristotle partnership, so stick with the CBS soap. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal there are 3 must-see moments for the week of March 31, 2025. Fans should look forward to Chloe Mitchell making a scandalous suggestion to Sally Spectra. Lauren Baldwin issues a desperate plea to Nikki Newman. Plus, Damian Kane makes a promise to Nate Hastings. Keep reading and let's talk about what is coming up in the CBS soap opera. Next week, one must-see moment will feature Chloe and Sally. Now, Sally probably won't divulge what Billy Abbott said about Aristotle Dumis. However, Sally is concerned about how much Phyllis Summers is leaning on Billy. At one point, Sally assured her boyfriend that Phyllis was a big girl. Phyllis also has family, but for some reason, she's not leaning on them. When Sally opens up to Chloe, her friend will make a scandalous suggestion. Chloe tries to persuade Sally to play dirty to get rid of Phyllis for good. When Sally opens up to Chloe, her friend will make a scandalous suggestion. Chloe tries to persuade Sally to play dirty to get rid of Phyllis for good. Over with Laurent, she calls Nikki for a meal out. When Nikki shows up, she thinks it's going to be a pleasant catch-up between friends. Before Nikki even plants her booty on the chair, Laurent is already issuing a desperate plea. Laurent wants her longtime friend to betray Victor Newman. Could this have something to do with Dumis? The Young and the Restless spoilers for the week of March 31 reveal that another must-see moment centers on Damian. While Leslie Winters confronted Damian about knowing of the Winters months before, she also made another allegation. Lily accused Damian of knowing Amy Lewis had cancer 3 months prior. Of course, Damian will continue to deny knowing about Amy's illness. Then, Damian turns to Nate to make a promise. There is also Tracy Abbott, who thinks Alan Laurent might actually be the man's dead twin, Martin Laurent. Tracy is horrified that her fiancé could be the same man to psychologically tortured Phyllis and Sharon Newman. However, by the end of the week, Tracy second-guesses her decisions. It sounds like Alan/Martin has a very good explanation and urges Tracy to believe him. Martin has always been very manipulative and clever. So, what will Tracy believe, and what does this mean for their upcoming wedding? Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Keep watching the soap on CBS or Paramount Plus to find out what happens next. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Billy Abbott and Jack Abbott's brother feud is about to blow up in a big way. Billy is making some huge mistakes that are sure to ruin his relationship with Jack once the truth comes out, so let's discuss the conflict that's about to reignite. My and our fans know Jack and Billy have had their fair share of issues in the past, but they're on good terms at the moment. Since Jack believes Billy has turned a positive corner, he's been expressing faith in his brother and making optimistic predictions. Of course, Jack has done more than just praise Billy for steering himself away from revenge and down a new path. Jack has also invested a great deal of money in Abbott Communications, so he's supporting Billy in more ways than one. From Jack's perspective, Billy is embracing a fresh start and concentrating on something besides payback on the Newmans. That's why Jack wants to believe Billy has transformed his life and that he's going to accomplish amazing things. Unfortunately, Billy is a perpetual screw-up who always finds ways to self-sabotage. Although Billy claims this isn't about revenge, he also can't deny that power is part of it. Billy wants to right some wrongs and prove himself, but he's probably going to blow up his world in the process. Aristotle has promised Billy that he'll handle Victor Newman and all the fallout of this scheme. According to Aristotle, Billy can keep his hands clean and reacquire Chancellor, so it's easy to see how he's lured Billy into his tangled web. You can bet Jack is going to unleash his wrath when he realizes what Billy's up to. Jack will inevitably discover Billy's alliance with Aristotle and realize Abbott Communications isn't really his brother's focus. At some point, Jack will have a chance to put Billy on full blast for teaming up with untrustworthy Aristotle and creating so many risks following his investment. There's also the matter of Billy lying about his new beginning and acting like vengeance was in the rearview mirror. Jack is going to feel duped and will no doubt warn Billy that he's setting himself up for disaster. From where Jack's standing, he may fear Billy's going to provoke Victor's fury and probably won't even get Chancellor out of the deal in the end. Aristotle can't be trusted to deliver what he's promised, so Jack may think Billy will get busted over his partnership and wind up with nothing to show for it. Whatever the case, Jack will eventually get updates on some shocking Billy news and strike back over it. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Billy and Jack's brother feud will erupt all over again, so stay tuned. Is where you want to be for sizzling Young and the Restless spoilers, news, and updates, so drop by often for more Y&R info. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the week of March 31, 2025 are here. Fans can expect Tracy Abbott to second-guess her decisions. Audra Charles receives an unexpected invitation. Plus, Phyllis Summers plays nice with Sally Spectra. Keep reading and let's talk about what is coming up in the CBS soap opera. Fans are already heartbroken for Tracy, who just realized that her fiancé could be the man who mentally tortured Phyllis and Sharon Newman. Tracy confided in Jack Abbott, who then summoned Chance Chancellor. However, by midweek, Diane Jenkins Abbott starts to worry about Tracy. Then, by Friday, Tracy starts to doubt her decisions. That sounds like Alan Laurent aka Martin Laurent might get into Tracy's head. Could the author start to question her gut instincts? During the week of March 31, fans will also see Audra get an unexpected invitation. This sounds like it might have something to do with Holden Novak. Over with Damian Kane, he makes a promise to Nate. Damian likely swears that he didn't have a clue that Amy Lewis was sick until he was found. This leads to Lily not being satisfied with Damian's answers. By midweek, she takes matters into her own hands. Elsewhere, Victor Newman orders Michael Baldwin to play hardball. Then we have the weekly preview clip, which shows Lauren Baldwin pleading with Nikki Newman to betray Victor. The Young and the Restless spoilers for next week reveal that Sally begins to lose her patience with Billy Abbott. Later, Phyllis plays nice with Sally. They are both alarmed by this Aristotle Dumis business. They also both care very much for Billy. So, could the two redheads work together to stop Billy from a catastrophe? Plus, Jack Abbott turns to Victoria Newman. Claire Grace Newman and Kyle Abbott find common ground. Jack will also try to keep Billy in line. Over with Chelsea Lawson, she has surprising news to share with Billy. Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Billy Abbott and Jack Abbott's brother feud is about to blow up in a big way. Billy is making some huge mistakes that are sure to ruin his relationship with Jack once the truth comes out. So let's discuss the conflict that's about to reignite. I and our fans know Jack and Billy have had their fair share of issues in the past, but they're on good terms at the moment. Since Jack believes Billy has turned a positive corner, he's been expressing faith in his brother and making optimistic predictions. Of course, Jack has done more than just praise Billy for steering himself away from revenge and down a new path. Jack has also invested a great deal of money in Abbott Communications, so he's supporting Billy in more ways than one. From Jack's perspective, Billy is embracing a fresh start and concentrating on something besides payback on the Newmans. That's why Jack wants to believe Billy has transformed his life and that he's going to accomplish amazing things. Unfortunately, Billy is a perpetual screw-up who always finds ways to self-sabotage. There's no reason to think that's ever going to change when it comes to Billy, who's working on a secret deal with Aristotle Dumis. Although Billy claims this isn't about revenge, he also can't deny that power is part of it. Billy wants to right some wrongs and prove himself, but he's probably going to blow up his world in the process. Aristotle has promised Billy that he'll handle Victor Newman and all the fallout of this scheme. According to Aristotle, Billy can keep his hands clean and reacquire Chancellor, so it's easy to see how he's lured Billy into his tangled web. You can bet Jack is going to unleash his wrath when he realizes what Billy's up to. Jack will inevitably discover Billy's alliance with Aristotle and realize Abbott Communications isn't really his brother's focus. At some point, Jack will have a chance to put Billy on full blast for teaming up with untrustworthy Aristotle and creating so many risks following his investment. There's also the matter of Billy lying about his new beginning and acting like vengeance was in the rearview mirror. Jack is going to feel duped and will no doubt warn Billy that he's setting himself up for disaster. From where Jack's standing, he may fear Billy's going to provoke Victor's fury and probably won't even get Chancellor out of the deal in the end. Aristotle can't be trusted to deliver what he's promised, so Jack may think Billy will get busted over his partnership and wind up with nothing to show for it. Whatever the case, Jack will eventually get updates on some shocking Billy news and strike back over it. The young and the restless spoilers say Billy and Jack's brother feud will erupt all over again, so stay tuned. Viewers know him as Adam Newman on The Young and the Restless, but when it comes to his portrayer, there are many things one may not know about Mark Grossman. The CBS soap fave recently went on State of Mind to talk with General Hospital's Maurice Bernard about mental health and opened up about a very personal part of his life. Over talk of mental illness, while the actor doesn't suffer from any of his own, he revealed he had a younger brother who did. "I had a younger brother who passed. He was diagnosed paranoid schizophrenic," Grossman shared, then went on to reflect back on his death on January 1, 2007. He was 19 and his younger brother was 17, and while he wasn't officially diagnosed until probably 3 months before he passed. The actor talked about how the whole progression of him getting worse took place over a time period of 2 or 3 years. At the time, the family had no idea what had been going on. "I don't know what I thought about it then, like I probably thought, oh, my brother's going through a phase," Grossman stated. He recalled how they were both attending public school and how his brother suddenly wanted to be homeschooled. He started to withdraw and things just got worse and worse. Other things started to happen, and Grossman went on to explain. He stopped hanging out with his friends, and then it really got real bad. He put on weight. He would wear all black. He would not want to go in public. He would shower in the dark. It took a while to get that bad. There was times where he was walking around the house with a bat. He was extremely paranoid. And at the time, his parents didn't know what to do. However, when it got so bad, they took him to a doctor and he was diagnosed, but there was a pretty long period of time where they just did what parents did. They loved their kid. He remembered seeing how much pain his brother was in, but at 19 years old, Grossman continued, "I don't know that I comprehended what he was going through. I probably thought in that moment, hey, he's going to grow out of this. I didn't understand, but looking back, he was in a lot of pain." You can watch the full interview below. The Young and the Restless spoilers and updates tease Eric Braeden recently marked a significant milestone on the CBS soap opera, where he has portrayed Victor Newman for many years. Recently, the actor teased that he has found the show's new major star, but he kept her identity a secret. Braeden has taken on various acting roles throughout his career. Fans of soap operas are most familiar with him as Victor Newman on the CBS soap, a character he has played since 1980. Recently, he received a surprise visitor on Instagram who congratulated him for his long tenure as Victor. In a video, a woman knocks on his dressing room door and wishes him a happy 45th anniversary. Braeden seemed to recognize her from The Bold and the Beautiful, which is Yivar's sister soap. When asked about his 45 years on the soap opera, the actor joked, "I'm 49 now." Braeden pointed out that he began his role in 1980, to which the woman mentioned she was only 7 years old back then. Shortly after, series executive producer and head writer Josh Griffith walked by and stopped to chat. Upon hearing the reason for her visit, Griffith exclaimed, "Happy 45 years." He then engaged in conversation with Braeden. At one moment, Braeden encouraged Griffith to become an actor, leading Griffith to humorously ask if he could join the show. Braeden replied, "I think I can make it happen." "We'll see," the woman chatting with him joked. "Maybe it's for the bold and the beautiful." This prompted Braeden to say, "They're trying to get me to join them." The woman repeated her comment, leading Griffith to assert that he wouldn't permit it. Braeden then returned to their earlier discussion, saying, "But listen to how you said, 'Hello, Sonny. I believe you have a bright future ahead as an actor.'" He also reflected, "I've been walking these halls for 45 years. You know, it's rare to feel that sense of familiarity. Honestly, after all these years, I always think each day could be my last. Nothing in this town lasts beyond 45 years." The woman inquired whether Braeden would be interested in joining the bold and the beautiful. The actor remarked that he and Victor would respond differently. He reflected, "As Victor Newman, I would, for a substantial amount of money." It's worth mentioning that Braeden has previously guest starred on The Bold and the Beautiful, appearing as Victor Newman in 4 episodes back in 1999. In the comments, numerous fans expressed their congratulations for Braeden's anniversary, with many sharing that they have been fans of his for years. Some of the comments were, "I adore him. I have his picture saved under my friend's name, so when she calls, his photo appears. I just say, 'Eric's calling me. I'll be right back.' What an incredible milestone -45 years. Wishing you ongoing success and good health. I recall when Eric first appeared on the show 45 years ago. It was thrilling. He had such an air of mystery. This was the first and only soap opera I watched, starting in 1981, after I finished cleaning up in the kitchen during The Price is Right and sat down just as it began." The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that Martin Laurent aka Alan Laurent may be arrested, so Phyllis Summers and Sharon Newman could have a chance to face their captor in lockup. There's no confirmation yet on how the rest of this Y&R storyline will play out, but there are a limited number of options here. It's possible that Martin could escape and flee the country after his upcoming confrontation with Tracy Abbott. It's also possible that Martin could somehow face a grim fate if this final showdown goes wrong. However, we can't ignore the possibility that Martin will get arrested once he confesses everything to Tracy and Chance Chancellor scores evidence, including the hardware store security footage. If Martin does get hauled away in handcuffs by the end of all this, it could bring a crucial opportunity for Sharon and especially Phyllis. After the nightmare Phyllis and Sharon endured while held captive at the clinic, they certainly deserve the opportunity to face their captor and unleash their fury. Of course, Martin might pat himself on the back when it comes to Phyllis and Sharon's truce. It's easy to imagine Martin gloating about his successful experiment while acting like Sharon and Phyllis should be thanking him. Nevertheless, Phyllis and Sharon endured one of the most traumatic experiences of their lives while they were held hostage together. Martin is a deranged sociopath, so Sharon and Phyllis will be sure to tell him so if they ultimately confront him in lockup. Could looking Martin in the eye and unleashing her wrath be exactly what Phyllis needs to move on? The fact that the kidnapper is still a mystery to Phyllis may be contributing to the lack of closure she's feeling. Once Martin is revealed as the person behind the distorted voice and all the twisted riddles, it could help Phyllis on her path to healing. Phyllis and Sharon may rip into Martin once the police have him in custody, which would help give them both some peace of mind. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Phyllis might finally start making some predictions about moving on with her life, so stay tuned for updates on any good news that could be looming.